Right now, is it fair to blame social media for psychotic bridezilla behavior? Plus, American Idol is making a comeback, but will the fans? This is The Chat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Chat. I'm Catalina Allures. We've got Henny, Angelia, and Joey joining the panel today. So excited. But our first story is a little more serious than what we're used to. So let's just go ahead and get started with a really disturbing case. 18 students now charged in the hazing death of a young Penn State sophomore. Police say Tim Piazza died back in early February. He had just finished the so-called gauntlet, a heavy drinking ritual for new pledges, when he fell down the basement stairs at the Beta Theta Pi fraternity house. He stayed there for 12 hours before someone called police. A grand jury says Piazza's death was preventable and was the result of, quote, reckless conduct. Prosecutors say some of the fraternity brothers tried to cover their tracks. They deleted messages and cleaned up evidence of alcohol. It's a story that really makes people sick, mainly because this guy's death was totally preventable. Why did no one call 911? What do you guys think about this? I mean, hazing has been part of, Greek life at universities for years.
Yeah, you saying that it makes you sick is this story in a nutshell, to be honest with you. I'll be completely honest, I wasn't very aware of this story until it started to garner national attention. And when you read into it and you look into it, it truly makes your stomach hurt. Just to leave somebody unconscious for 12 hours, I could even somewhat respect that you realize he was drunk and something was wrong and you immediately called. I can somewhat respect that. But like, where is your humanity that you let this young man lay at the bottom of the stairs for 12 hours? So you knew that was wrong, but then, because I literally read all 81 pages of the court document.
Oh, Lord.
And it gives you explicit details of what happened. And just the manipulation and the scheming of delete the text messages. A lot of the guys had search histories on their iPhones of, can we let somebody sleep after a concussion? True or false, sleeping after a concussion is okay. How much alcohol is too much? So it got to a point where it was no longer that an accident has happened, but at that point it has turned criminal and malicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the DA said something that I thought was so just profound. She goes, this was a preventable death and now a family will never see their child again. It's really sad
heartbreaking.
to me.
It's really sad that this started at 9 o'clock in the evening, and by 10:48 he was already intoxicated and fell down the stairs. And that's where all of this started, and he ruptured his spleen. And of course, they don't know on top of it yet, but he probably also had a concussion of some sort. And then they left him alone for a bit. They were doing other hazing things, I'm sure, drinking themselves, not paying attention. Then they came back, they saw that he was getting up, he was falling, he was getting up, he was falling. And the thing that I did read is they called it a backpack. Did you read about that?
Yeah, at one point when they realized, because a lot of times, medically and statistically, if you're laying on your back and you start to puke, you're going to choke on your vomit. That's just, to be honest, I know that's kind of frank. That's the name of the game. So they literally put a backpack, like a literal backpack, so he could not roll over onto his back. So at that point, and then at one point, right before they were going to call an ambulance, 12 hours later, they said, we need to get him dressed. So I'm like, at that point, you have to know that you're altering a crime scene and that it's not okay. I thought what was really interesting about this, because I feel like in the past there has been a history, because a lot of these fraternities and sororities, let's be honest, it's just not the fraternities who are
Greek
doing
life in general. This is not just fraternities.
A lot of times, these fraternities and sororities are packed with athletes, let's just call it like it is, athletes who are winning these colleges championships and medals and honors. And a lot of time the colleges, in my opinion, have a tendency to turn a blind eye and say, well, it happened after school hours. So I was really happy, and I commend that the president of Penn State, whose name is Eric Barron, and I have a quote from him that has pretty much said, this is not okay. He said, and we will do everything in our power to make sure it never happens again. His quote says, all indicators suggest that Beta Theta Pi was a model fraternity. The house, privately owned and situated like all other fraternity houses on private property, was beautiful, the subject of a multi-million-dollar renovation. Both the Beta alumni and the national organization provide strict rules of behavior, and the brothers had a no alcohol policy which stated that anyone caught drinking would be expelled. And it's clear, however, that this was no model fraternity.
Exactly.
So I commend the president saying, this is not okay with us, and we will do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And the fraternity isn't coming back to Penn State. They've been completely disbanded. They've been banned forever.
They've already had a history of problems there, that fraternity, and that's why there were cameras were installed to actually watch over everything that was going on. I mean, I was in a sorority when I was at JU. I was Tri Delta, and throwing it all out there, we were hazed. We did it.
We were there. I mean, things happen. But whenever you're
it wasn't
a kid,
this serious though.
well, I mean, you know, the fraternity.
don't
Yeah,
tell
I
on
know.
yourself,
I
girl.
know
Don't tell on
many
yourself.
stories. I know many stories from our
think
fraternities that were probably equal to
yeah,
this.
I really-
but
the
things
sad
were taken
thing
care
about
of way
this-
in advance so that someone didn't die.
The sad thing about this is I know of a lot of good fraternities and sororities who actually are good people and good organizations that do a lot of community work, and they're kind of overshadowed by this. But I think there's such a gray line of how much control and mandates does a college have on fraternity that technically is a privately owned fraternity, but it's still associated with their school. There's got to be something, and that's one thing I like that the Penn State president said is that he has a mission now to revitalize, not revitalize, restructure Greek life on campus.
Well, I mean, we're talking a lot about Greek life, but let's not forget in FAMU back in 2011, Robert Champion, who was the drum major of the award-winning FAMU Marching 100, was hazed and beaten to death. So we're talking a lot about Greek life, but I mean, it's just college kids in general don't seem to understand that hazing, this initiation is understood. You know, there's a bonding aspect to it psychologically, but hazing in particular is very dangerous, and I don't like. It's been years. We have all kinds of cases like this, and they're still not learning.
It's just a lack of humanity that you know that the young man needed help, and you A, continue to choose to keep partying throughout the night, and B, you did nothing until it was far too late for him and his family.
I think they were all intoxicated. It was probably 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and I think once that happens, you're drinking, you're not paying attention, you're not thinking straight.
I think this is going to be a story that we're going to see in the press for a while. I mean, there are 850 charges in this case. That's
although interestingly, Cordell Davis, according to prosecutors, who is not being charged, he's one of the fraternity brothers, told fellow frat brothers to call 911. He screamed at them to get help, but no one did. Yet, he's not being charged, and yet he did not call 911 to get help.
You're aiding and abetting him.
So I don't understand why he's not being charged. He might be telling them to call 911, but he never got help. So the whole thing is just very, very disappointing.
I have to leave that there
very
because
sad.
Haley's going to get all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've ever been in a wedding, then honey, you know the stress that's involved. But what if you had to add getting in shape to all of the other duties for her special day? Well, thanks to social media, looking picture perfect is now the latest pressure on bridal parties. Getting in shape, losing weight, attending wellness programs, and even having cosmetic procedures with the brides-to-be are often encouraged, if not downright demanded, by the brides themselves. Now, one bride who suggested all of her maids get fit, wear extensions, and avoid tan lines, she said, quote, "I want my guests to invest in their appearances, feel pretty, go buy the dress of their dreams, and feel confident in themselves. I want everyone to feel and look beautiful." Thoughts on this?
If you want your guests to feel confident and beautiful, let them wear what they want to wear, because that's how you feel confident, is whatever makes you happy, not what makes you, the bride, happy. That's what I don't understand.
It's the bride's day.
The bride
can call the shots.
Or I just don't go to her wedding. If you don't like it, don't go to her wedding.
But, so is this for the bridal party or the guests of the wedding?
This was for the bridal party.
See, here's where I differ from this bride. When I get married, I'm going to have 5 of the ugliest dudes as my groomsmen, so I'm the best looking one. There won't be any competition.
Well, I'm sure they think of that too.
Girls don't do that.
They think of that too. That's
here's my question. Okay, here's a question,
that.
Angelia, since you're kind of for it, and Catalina, since you're against. So it's your best friend, like you guys have been together since kindergarten, and she's getting married, and she goes, "This is what I want. You need to lose weight." Are you just not in the wedding?
I'm just not in the wedding.
I'm not her friend anymore either.
If you want me to lose weight, because here's the thing, because if you want me to lose weight or do all these cosmetic things for your wedding and not for my well-being, then there is a major issue with that chick's self-confidence and whatever else is going wrong with her psychologically.
So let me tell y'all a story. What had happened was, this was way back in the day before I've grown since then, but I had a good friend, and she got engaged. She planned the wedding really, really quick. It was a military style, blah, blah, blah. He had to go out to see, she had to plan it. So I was her maid of honor, and because she loved me, I'm assuming, she planned her wedding on my birthday. That was challenge number one. Like, I usually do things for me and go all out for my birthday, but now you're putting your wedding on my birthday. But anyway, so she had became bridezilla to the point where, y'all know me, I'm only going to take so much before I come out screaming. And she was beginning to be psychotic. So guess what I told her? Deuces.
Penny.
You backed out of her wedding?
I did. My birthday comes around once a year, and I'm not going to let you talk to me like this and behave like this and put these demands on me like I'm a slave for you for your wedding that's going to last 26 minutes, boo. I wasn't down with that. And you know what? To this day, we're not friends. Unfortunately, she's living her life. She's doing well, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, because there's only so much I'm going to take. Now, this is straight foolishness. Something is wrong with her. Something is wrong with the bride. If she is requesting and demanding that her bridesmaids do all these things for her because of social media, because when she posts the pictures
just because of how it's going
on social media,
well, I think
I
think there's a difference of asking for health and cosmetic things, because I hate to say it, it's one day out of the year, so you're gonna get fit. I mean, hopefully you'll still be healthy. My point is, it's like a friend of mine just got married, and she found a pretty gorgeous dress, which if you've been a bridesmaid or know anything about weddings, like the wedding industry is pricey.
Yes.
So she found a dress, gorgeous. It was one of those dresses that you can change like, 7,000 different ways.
One of the wrap dresses,
It was like 200, let's say 250. She texts out everybody, it's how much the dress, crickets, and I'm like,
of course, I'm not paying that much money for a dress either.
But again,
listen, just $250 for a bridesmaid dress? That's a miracle.
But listen, it gets better. So the dress was $250. That was some issues. So my friend is a born negotiator. She texts back. She's like, I got the dress down to $115. You have to pay half down and get the dress. And there were still some complaints. So at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not going to please all of your bridal party.
Of course.
But I do think, kind of like Angelique's saying, like, it is the bride's day. It's the bride and the man's day. I don't know which
It's the bride's day.
So you kind of do have to just kind of go with it.
Absolutely, it's her day. The wedding is for the bride.
But don't you think these days,
this all happened on the Upper East Side of New York City. So that's where all this began.
But you know what? It don't matter. What if it happened in Palatka? So what? Same difference. Same rules. You start acting a fool with these demands, something wrong with you. I'm out.
But that's the thing, and there is so many diets now that are the fad, and a lot of brides are doing this. This is not just one-off. This is a lot of women who are doing this. There's the HCG diet, which a girlfriend of mine actually demanded all of her bridesmaids to do, and I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but that's the HCG hormone that's given off during pregnancy.
We heard of that.
And that's actually
how does that diet
you drop in 21 days. You can drop 15 pounds.
But
very
because you ain't eating, you're starving yourself. You should lose 15 pounds. That is unhealthy.
No, you're not starving yourself. You're actually injecting yourself with
weddings
with
are supposed to be fun, and this just makes it so stressed.
No,
like, enjoy a wedding. You shouldn't be stressed about losing weight and trying to look good on social media.
So before we wrap, is she still your friend? If you were in her wedding, is she still your friend?
I wouldn't be in the wedding. That's asking too much as a bridesmaid.
Absolutely. If she's my friend and I'm in her wedding and she's putting demands on me that she would like for her wedding day, absolutely.
If you agree to be the bridesmaid, you basically agree to do whatever she's asking.
Why don't we hear groomsmen going through stuff like this? Why is it just the ladies?
Because we're too relaxed.
Because they can wear a suit and they don't have to wear Spanx.
Yeah, like
that's why.
I was just in a wedding and picked up my suit like 30 minutes before the wedding. Like, we're much more chill about this kind of stuff.
You guys lucked out.
All right, we got to move on. Speaking of chill. All right, speaking of high demands, after 2 years off of the air, fans of American Idol are getting what they asked for many months now. The singing competition is being resurrected on ABC, and there's no confirmed judges or hosts as of yet. But if Ryan Seacrest is asked to come back, his new co-host says he actually won't mind. Take a look.
What I do know is apparently it's unofficial, but very close to being said it will be here. I don't know if I can host it or whatever.
Yes, you can. Listen.
But it could be that. So there you go.
Here's what I know.
Well, you know it.
I know that you're busy in the mornings. I get it. I understand. It's hard doing double duty. You've got the radio show. You've got this. But your nights are free. You don't have that much to do. You can do this.
You know the preparation I have to do for this show every night?
Yeah. But you can do this. You can disconnect for that. I promise. On the days where it's like the day after, I will totally, you won't even have to think. I'll do it all for you.
My God.
I love the two of them together. I'm throwing that out there. I
cute.
said they were going to be amazing, and they are.
Do you notice how her body language and her chemistry has completely changed since he's been there?
Yeah. They're friends. You can tell they're genuinely
Here's the thing. I'm a big fan of American Idol. Like when American Idol was in its prime, like I just told someone this today. Like I remember season 4, the year Carrie Underwood won, like family and friends holding hands in the living room, like praying that Carrie won. I do think it's a little bit early, but I think it's so early that if key components like Seacrest don't return to the show,
it'll
they've
die.
got nothing.
Yeah, it'll die.
You think?
Well,
I think they could bring in a no-name that could be amazing.
I have read and heard some rumors that the goal is to move the show to Sunday nights because in the last couple of seasons it was a one-day or one-night show anyways. The goal is to move the show to Sunday nights. That way Seacrest can still be involved, which jet set back and forth. And then I've also heard rumors that Kelly Clarkson is in serious negotiations to jump on board as a judge.
I think she's the only one that I can really see as a new judge. Like, I can't imagine them bringing back J-Lo really.
No,
or
J-Lo didn't
or
do
Keith
it for
Urban.
Me. She did it for the guys because she's
Here's
very
the
good.
thing.
I think I love her, but
whether
I just
you
didn't like her on
love
the
American
show.
Idol or not, and I do, you cannot deny it. That is truly one of the only, if not the only, music shows that has produced superstar.
Absolutely.
But it's seen
mega
its day. You
talent.
said it like when the show was in its prime. For me, its show in its prime, it peaked at about season 6 maybe, and then dropped off afterward. Like everything after that just felt like they were dragging out the show, and I was done with
They're going to
it.
have to make some changes and revamp it a little bit, but I think
Call it a
it
new
could make
name.
a comeback. But it's all about the judges. They have to bring in someone with some great star power who's going to make you say, oh, I'm watching that. Now, I will be honest, American Idol is my first love. That's the show that started it all. I am a big AI fan. All these other ones I watch, but AI has my heart.
What if they had like the prior winners, like Ruben Studdard and Gary
Yes,
Underwood?
that's my boo, and he don't
if
even
they had
know it.
just
Well, see-
all
That's why I'd love to see Kelly Clarkson
prior
as a judge.
winners.
Yeah.
I think that would
I
be kind of
think-
neat to watch them.
But you got to think, like, Kelly Clarkson has, in her, I mean, she went out, I think, in 2001, has already seen the ups and downs of the industry. That's somebody with good insight. I don't really know if somebody like Ruben has much to contribute, because he
Bring Fantasia.
Everybody
Faded.
loves him. Oh, Fantasia.
I
Oh,
love-
Fantasia would be good.
Take
Yeah, or Taylor Hicks.
Yes.
She could,
Taylor.
she could be the Simon Cowell. Fantasia could do.
Yes.
She could deliver.
Well, she's
She
too
would.
sweet for that, though.
Oh, she could deliver.
In
I
real
think
life,
she'd be
Tasia
good.
is really sweet.
Let me just say,
Wait, we are in so much trouble.
go ahead.
All right, well, speaking of singing competitions, when we come back, we're talking with a Jacksonville native who's earned his way into the finals of The Voice Australia. How cool is that? He shares his story next.
Yes.
Next, New Ellen from the